Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Kayla. Today's video, we're gonna do my March TBR. So if you don't know, March is gonna be a big month for me and hopefully you if you participate, but March is gonna be our 2-week Squash That Series challenge, which runs from March 7th to March 20th. And that's only 2 weeks. So I have 2 other weeks that I need to fill with books, not for Squash That Series. I'm gonna get into this and I have all the books set in different chunks. So on the screen, it'll pop up which category we are on and then I'll get into those. So let's do it. So the first category is buddy reads. So I actually have 2 buddy reads planned in the month of March. We have yet to figure out like how long we're gonna read it, the breakdown we're gonna read it, but I just know that they're gonna happen at some point. So these are my buddy reads. The first one I have is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I am reading this with Aaliyah over at the Library Dweller, and I am very excited. I mentioned this book in my owned TBR bookshelf video, and she mentioned that she also had it on her TBR. So we kind of said, eventually, let's do it. And so I messaged her and I was like, hey, you want to do it in March? And she said yes. So this is set in World War II, and as far as I know, it is about 2 sisters, and this basically talks about the Women's War of World War II that kind of nobody really talks about, and kind of like the durability of women and the resilience of women in that time period. I know it's gonna be real sad. I know I'm gonna cry probably. I know this is probably gonna destroy me because I'm pretty sure this is Kristen Hanna's best work, as far as I know. That's what people say. So I'm excited for us to get to this one. My next buddy read is with Ruby, and we're gonna be reading Jane Eyre. Now, if you watch Ruby's TBR videos, you know Jane Eyre's sitting there, and it's been sitting there for a hot minute. And I said that I also, at some point in my life, needed to actually read Jane Eyre, because I think in high school, that was the book that I would tell people that I have read and I enjoyed. And I was a liar because I had only ever seen the movie. I own the book. So I told Ruby, hey, let's buddy read Jane Eyre. You gotta read it. You wanna read it. I wanna read it. Here we go. Those are my buddy reads for March. And let's get into the next category. The next category is book club. March, the book club that I participate in, Shelf This Book Club. This month is Bailey's pick. And Bailey has picked a historical romance for us to read. And the book is Again the Magic by Lisa Kleypas. Girl, I don't know anything about this. I just know it's a historical romance and the cover is cute because it's blue. So basically, from what Goodreads is telling me right now, this book is number 0 in the Wallflowers. And I think if I'm not mistaken, this book came out in 2015, but all the other Wallflower books came out in like the 90s or something like that. Like all of them came out, and this is like, came out way after. Basically, what I get from Goodreads is this lady is brought up to marry someone in her own class her whole life, and then she meets this dude and she risks everything for him, and they kind of have a forbidden romance, and then the dude leaves, comes back to get revenge on the girl who broke his heart, and then stuff happens. That's probably horribly wrong. Okay, the next category I'm titling General or Owned TBR. This is a book that I for sure am getting to in March. That is my owned book. I always need to put an owned TBR book that is just general, that I'm not really reading for anything. And that book is Recursion by Blake Crouch. We know I stan Mr. Blake. I love him. We all know The Dark Matter was such a phenomenal book that I read. That's just black. That I read last year, and I'm very excited to get to this one. And also, sneak peek, it's not in this video, but sneak peek for August, I think. I was automatically pre-approved for Blake Crouch's new book on NetGalley. Like, I got an email saying, hey girl, click this button and it'll already download for you. And I said, sis, y'all knew I liked Blake Crouch. So, but Recursion. So this is basically a thriller, and I believe in the start of this book, it's New York City and there's a cop, and the cop is investigating a phenomenon about false memory syndrome, where basically you can recreate memories or you can have memories that you never actually lived. Then there's a neuroscientist who kind of dedicates her life to this syndrome. That girl, you can't read a synopsis for Blake Crouch. You just got to go into it. Because he's gonna confuse your mind anyway. This is like when Cillian Murphy's trying to read about quantum physics for Oppenheimer. Like, no thoughts, head empty, just just read it. Like, just do it. So, I'm very excited for that one. In the next category, we're gonna title NetGalley. Now, these are books that I have to read in March. Like, they're coming out in March, and I have to read them. And if I happen to get to them earlier, I do. But I want to finish them at least by the day that they're released. So, the first one that I'm getting to in March, I was very hesitant to read at first, and I wasn't sure why I requested it, but after I got it and I kind of read about it, I realized why I got it and why I'm very excited. So this book is called Great or Nothing. This book is by Joy McCullough, Caroline Tung Richmond, Tess Sharp, and Jessica Spotswood. Now, this is a reimagining of Little Women set in 1942, the time of the Second World War. Now, what I'm guessing is because it does have the 4 authors, I am probably assuming that each author gets a different sister. Okay, so each sister is living a different life. Jo is in Boston building planes. Meg is still at home. Amy is a Red Cross volunteer in London, and something happens to Beth to kind of start off this. And it says that each author has a different sister, and 3 of the sisters are in prose, and Beth's story is in verse. I feel like this is going to be very good. I feel like this is going to give me a different outlook on Little Women. The next book that I have to read for NetGalley comes out March 22nd, and it is The Bone Orchard by Sarah A. Mueller. And this cover, you're looking at it, it is beautiful. It says The Bone Orchard follows Mistress Charm, a favored courtesan of the emperor and a mistress of the brothel Orchard House. When the emperor dies under mysterious circumstances, his dying request to Charm is for her to investigate his murder, as he suspects one of his sons is responsible. Charm, along with her team of courtesans, set out to find what happened to the emperor, and at the same time are being pulled into trying to save the empire from the dangers of mad and ambitious princes. Now, sis, that sounds amazing, and I feel like this book is gonna blow me away. I'm nervous. That sounds so good. So this comes out March 22nd. So I might do a dedicated NetGalley vlog of me reading both of these. I might just review them. I don't know, but you're gonna see these. So the moment you guys have all been waiting for, my Squash That Series challenge first roll, and what I will be starting out the challenge with. So let's get into that. Okay, so here are my dice. I'm gonna go ahead and roll for y'all. A 2 and a 1, so 3. So I'm going to move 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. Oh, perfect. I get a star, and it is series most recently started. So that is where I'm going to start, and I'm going to jump back to my face, and I'm going to tell you what series I've most recently started and what I'm going to read. Okay, welcome back. So first roll is great because I'm gonna get this star, and if I didn't get this star now, I was gonna have to like backtrack all the way back to the beginning, but we're here and I'm gonna get this star. So the prompt was series most recently started. Now I really thought it was gonna be, I have the book right here. I really thought it was gonna be the second book to The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, but based on my list that I've created for the series that I'm kind of in the middle of, my most recently started series is actually the Uptown Girls series by Joanna Shoup. And I read the first book like a couple days ago, and I only read it because I knew Bailey had read it. That book is The Prince of Broadway by Joanna Shoup. It is the second book in the Uptown Girls trilogy, I believe. And this one is about a casino owner, and I think the girl is like, doesn't like him, so then she opens her own casino and they kind of become rivals, I think. It's a historical romance. You see the cover. So it looks like I'm reading 2 historical romances this month, and I'm into it. So that is gonna be my first read for Squash That series on March 7th. So March 7th, you're gonna see me reading this book. But that's it. So the only books that I'm reading that are physical that I have in front of me currently are these 2. All the other books I either don't have physically right now, or I'm reading them on my iPad. I don't know, but that's it. I'm reading It's Upside Down, The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I'm reading Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, Again the Magic by Lisa Kleypas, Recursion by Billy Crouch, The Bone Orchard by Sarah A. Mueller, Great or Nothing by all those people, and then The Prince of Broadway by Joanna Shoup. And that is just for this video, and that is just for everything but Squash That series, except for the final book that I am reading for Squash That series. So if you want to see all the other books that I'm going to be reading in the month of March, stay tuned for my Squash That series reading vlogs, where I will be continuing my roles as I read things, and I'm trying to get all the stars, trying to get to the end, trying to do whatever the hell I'm trying to do. But that's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me if you're reading any of these. Tell me if you want to read any of these. Tell me if you're participating in Squash That series. If you're not, you should, and I'm going to pressure you to do it. And you don't have to do it in March. Like, we want you to do it with us. But Amy's not doing it until April, because that works for Amy. So if March doesn't work for you, join the Discord and talk about it with us when you finally get to do it. But again, that's all I have. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.